Hello, hello. Welcome to this week's episode of Welcome to the Bomb House. This is Ricky Rod. This week we're going to introduce you to a band from Greenville, South Carolina. They go by the name of Foxwood. We actually worked on an EP this year. The lead singer has been a longtime friend of mine, and I thought they would be a perfect band to have on the podcast. Jesse has a great background. Actually, all the guys have a great background and great story. But you know, if you've been a musician or if you've been in a band, you have been through a lot of these situations. You can put yourselves into their shoes. And if you have not been a band, if you're not a musician, you sort of get a sneak peek behind the creative process of recording and just listening to a band be a band. These guys are great. They're super talented. Please make sure to support them on their social media websites. I will make sure to put the links in the description. You guys have a good week. God bless. All right, boys, start up whenever you want to.
I don't wanna live like a second-rate citizen, living in a world that feels like a prison that's holding me down, kicking me around. I don't wanna feel like no matter how I try, I'll never get ahead until the day I die. I'm tired of the race and keeping up the pace, 'cause maybe I can find a way to make my great escape, 'cause I'm all out of fortune, and I've pressed all my luck, and I've wrestled my demons. Now I'm fighting to get up. I've come to the edge and I've tasted a failure. I accepted the blame. Now I'm fighting to get up. So I don't wanna live just wishing time away. 5 out of 7 just living for the weekend, and it slips away. Next week it'll stay. So maybe I can find a way to make my great escape, 'cause I'm all out of fortune, and I've pressed all my luck, and I've wrestled my demons. Now I'm fighting to get up, and I've come to the edge and I've tasted a failure. I accepted the blame. Now I'm fighting to get up, 'cause something will give if I keep on moving, if I keep refusing to play by all the rules. Something will give if I keep on moving on, 'cause I'm all out of fortune, and I've pressed all my luck, and I've wrestled my demons. Now I'm fighting to get up, and I've come to the edge and I've tasted a failure. I accepted the blame. Now I'm fighting to get up, 'cause I'm fighting to get up.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was a different intro.
Heck yeah, it was.
Right, Jimmy?
It was fantastic. What it was.
Well, in the studio, I'd like to welcome some good friends. They go by the name of Foxwood. Hey, introduce yourself.
What's up? I'm Jesse.
I'm Nate.
I am Josh.
Well, Man, this is cool. Jimmy, how are you?
I'm great, man. I'm great. I just listened to freaking great music.
I
at the
know,
beginning of
man.
an
I
episode.
friggin' when they started, I instantly just relaxed about 10 seconds
Yeah.
into that song.
Yeah.
And just enjoyed that. Well, again, we're always trying something different, and we're going to do something different for this episode.
Yeah.
I thought these guys would be a great guinea pig for this format. So, Jesse, when did we start recording your EP?
This started back in April.
Yeah, I felt like we started in the
March,
spring.
April? Yeah.
Like
It was the last-
late March, early April. We kind of kicked it off.
Yeah. So, so we obviously recorded. I forgot how many songs. Six,
Seven tracks.
Yeah, seven tracks.
7 tracks. I honestly cannot remember the number. I just remember the songs. So we started this process now. Jesse's throwing stuff. It's all good.
Lost my pop filter.
It's all good. He sang so hard he blew up the pop filter. So, Jesse, how long have I known you?
Oh gosh, I've known you for at least 12 years.
Yeah, it's been over 10 years. It's been
Yeah.
over 10 years. And we met through Chip Latham.
Yeah, Chip
correct,
was
who was a guest on this
managing-
podcast.
Yeah, he was my old manager back in that day when I had my band Daylight Wasting, which Nate was a part of as well, but Chip came after Nate had moved away.
And Daylight was a Christian band.
Yeah,
Right, like a,
yeah,
like a rock band.
We're definitely a Christian band. Did a lot of church stuff, a lot of youth camps, a lot of the standard going
Yeah.
around to different churches playing worship sets, and maybe we could do an original set after we led worship.
Right. Yeah.
Kind of band.
If we were lucky, and if we negotiated that prior to.
And you guys did that for a long time. I mean, I know that band was out for a while.
Yeah, we started that band in.
It was January 26th of 2006. I actually remember.
Wow.
specifically.
Quite
But
specific.
yeah,
That is
and-
awesome. So you guys go way back.
Yeah, Nate and I, we've been friends for a really long time. We were in a band before that with a guy named Carol Strickland, and we had a band called Purpose 916 that we did. Had a
Purpose
bit more of a
916. What did that stand for? That's a very biblical
oh,
Christian name.
Romans 916.
No.
No,
It wasn't like John 3:16.
It was-
It wasn't related
No.
to
It was
Stone Cold
Bible.
Steve
It was
Austin.
Bible 916.
But to be fair, originally it was Carol Strickland and Purpose, and so
Oh.
we kind of went to Carol and we were like, "Hey
Gotcha.
man, this is very like we're kind of like
We
your
gotta change
backup
this.
show, or are we a band?" And so we decided to change the name. So we had to find some sort of.
Was he
scripture that
older?
worked.
Was he older
yeah,
than
he
you
was.
guys?
Yeah.
He was like 40 at
Yeah,
the
he's about
time. We
40.
were in our early 20s. Like I was 20.
So it was like your
no, I
first
wasn't even
thing.
20.
Yeah.
I was like 18 when I first joined that band. 'cause
I had a
was freshman
similar
in college.
situation. Yeah.
And Nate had just quit college to join that band.
Yeah, I went to college for a solid 4 days before quitting to join the band. It was pretty.
So
all
wait, 4
in,
days?
all
4
in.
days into the...
I quit on Thursday. Yeah, it was the. I can't even say I went on the fourth day. I quit on that
fantastic.
day. And
Hey,
so, yeah.
Josh, what band were you in?
First off, what I want to know is why is there a man named Carol?
Oh, I know a dude named
Oh,
Carol. He's
There's
one of my
also a
best
man
friends.
named
My
Shannon.
grandfather's name is Carol, but he goes
I
by
have
Bill.
a best friend named Carol. I
Wait,
just talked to him last week.
LL? 2 L's?
Yeah,
Okay, this guy had
and 2
one.
R's.
Yes.
Oh, this guy had
C-A-R-O-L.
1 R, 1 L.
Carol
It was-
Strickland.
Okay,
confusing,
that is more of a
Yeah.
feminine spelling,
Yeah.
I think. So
Well,
Well,
He
I
was
have a
not
best friend
feminine
that's
guy,
Carol.
though. He's a
He's
scary
awesome.
man.
But so that is awesome. I know we became fast friends.
Yeah,
and we
that-
were recording back in those days. I had the studio downtown. That was crazy. We were downtown. A lot of Yanni's pizza. A lot
oh
of food.
man, yeah.
It was old school.
Oh, yeah.
It was old school. It was fun. And then so we're gonna go through Jesse's background a little bit. You ended up going into full-time ministry for a while.
Yeah,
correct?
so I had started right out of college. I got a job at a church called Praise Cathedral out in Greer, South Carolina. I worked there for about 3
I think that's
years.
important to establish. Y'all are from South Carolina.
Yes, we're South
Yes,
Carolina
sir.
boys. Green. We say Greenville.
I'm the only one who lives in Greenville, actually.
Yeah, Nate lives in Greenville. Josh lives in Malden. I currently live in Boiling Springs.
I know where all those towns
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
Boom.
But
you go.
Wow.
we just say Greenville because it's kind of central.
It's a pretty happening
Yeah.
area, actually.
Although some of our social
Okay,
media
so let's
still
get
says
back to the
Centerville.
ministry part.
Yeah, so I was a youth music minister / associate youth pastor for a while at that church, and I was there for about 3.5 years. And then the youth pastor that was there was like, "Hey, I'm going to plant a church in Lexington, Kentucky."
I remember that.
And this was right at the time that like
Chip had just picked us up, and things were really starting to happen. Nate had left the band to move to California with his wife, and we...
Was that military related, or was it work?
She was stationed there. I quit in like November, or I got married in 2007 November.
So it was military.
Yeah,
Okay.
and she was stationed out there.
And like Chip had actually gotten some interest from like Sparrow and Dove and some other pretty big names. And then that opportunity came to plant the church, and I was like, yeah, this is what I'm going to do. Kind of wish I'd prayed about it a little bit more.
Well, it was. You can always look. Hindsight's 20/20.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
But I think, in your case, though, I think it's a part of the story of where you're at now.
Absolutely, yeah.
And our stories tend to change. And if that hadn't happened, I don't think we would have captured the music and the emotion we captured on the EP.
Oh, definitely.
Okay, which is on Apple Music, it's on Spotify, it's on CD Baby, it's on all those platforms. But I just remember when you guys, when you contacted me, I was like, sure, just come up, and man, we crushed it that first session.
Oh, Josh straight murdered on
all
drums.
the drums.
That's what I do.
He got rid of and he sold the snare drum that I loved, by the way, the snare drum on that record.
Sorry.
He also sold that kit.
Man, he has sold every bit
I
of
know.
any drums he's had like in the last 2 months. Like
I'm on my third drum kit since I've been in the band so far.
The third, that's actually not horribly bad.
Yeah.
yes, it is.
Is it? Because he's only been in the band
That's
for like
terrible.
4 months.
I've been playing. I've got my Fender jazz bass that I've had since we started
It's great.
Daylight Wasting.
Yeah.
Gosh,
It's old school, man.
I still
It's
play
old
the
school.
I
same.
can't believe it.
But I just remember you brought in these songs, you had them scratched out, and I mean I knew pretty quick the direction of the way things went. And if we go back and I don't remember a lot of details of this stuff, because when I get zeroed in on whatever we're doing, I'm all about each song. I'm all about what we're trying to do, right? And I always think it's an adjustment for bands that haven't been here before to work with me. There's a little adjustment. Sometimes there's a bigger adjustment. But my favorite story is me and Nate.
Oh man,
Nate felt so bad asking me for adjustments.
yeah.
And finally, after the 100th time, I told you to stop apologizing for that, right? I think I told you stop because we are spirit animals in that way. And a lot of people don't realize the amount of work that goes into producing music. We toil over it. We literally stress out about the second measure of the third chorus, about the energy, about a snare hit. Like, that's the kind of stuff that I won't go to sleep. Like, I will wake up at 2:30 in the morning to come and adjust something if I feel like it needs to be adjusted. Because I probably have 300 notes in my phone, because I'll just sit there and just I'll go over these things. And what's really funny is, we use Dropbox to upload mixes,
Which is a huge improvement from back in the day when you used to have to
CDs
burn us a CD.
took forever.
Go in our car and listen to it.
So for my audience, the process nowadays, I haven't burned a CD in years, and I tell people I can't burn CDs. That's sort of a white lie, but I just won't do it anymore. But
You heard it here first.
but
It's not
we
physically
Dropbox,
can't,
right?
but morally can't.
there's a cloud. We have a cloud now, right? So I can upload the files. We can listen to them, and on our phones, we can listen to them in our cars. We can listen to them anywhere, and it's made life a million times easier for me and my clients. It's a really great way for us to communicate. But at night, I keep a really, really cheap pair of skull candies beside my bed, and I put them on. I plug them into my phone, and I'll listen to what we've done. I'll listen to mixes, and people are like, why are you using $8 headphones? Well, if my mixes sound good on the $8 headphones, they're going to sound good on the really snazzy ones.
Right,
Yeah.
for sure.
And that, my favorite thing about y'all's music and your songs is we didn't overproduce anything. We were very minimal on the overdubs. We were very minimal on the guitars. I don't even think we got past 3 or 4 guitar tracks, which is like a heresy in my opinion.
Yes,
Normally,
when I did my solo record, I think we had like 9 or
oh my god,
10
we went
guitars
crazy.
at least on each track.
we went crazy, but it tells you how things can change in just a matter of a couple of years. And what's really weird is when I went to go mix these songs, the energy of these mixes, the minute I started just getting in there and pulling things up, and it just blew me away how simple, these tracks were, and how just the quality of what we were able to get. Not just the quality, but the songs. I felt like the choruses, Jesse, you guys didn't cut any corners. Like we got to those choruses and they're a killer. Which song has the analog keyboard?
That
you remember?
was-
Let You Go.
Was it Let You Go?
Yeah, that's Let
The
You Go.
opener?
It has just that kind of chorusy sound.
Yes. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
We used an analog
yeah,
keyboard.
that's-
Let
I
You Go.
remember
And then
trying to
that-
figure
yeah.
out what we wanted to do
Yeah.
on that, and
Yeah.
that was one of my favorite things. It was a very Switchfooty kind of production.
Please
element.
tell me more. Tell me more.
Well, it's good. That's all I can tell you, because we didn't want to go crazy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We didn't want to go
I think
crazy,
we only
and,
put keyboards on 2 songs.
and that was it. Everything else,
What was the
we
other
had
one?
cellos.
On Great Escape. We did it in the pre-chorus of Great Escape.
Yeah. The
Yes.
doo-doo-doo.
Then
Oh, I thought
yeah.
that's what we were talking
No,
about.
no. He's
Oh.
talking about the choir.
We
part,
had like a pad,
Oh,
some
yeah.
kind of.
Oh,
but
yeah.
It's one of my.
And then
But if you listen to that, it's like an old school analog, like 80 synth.
and then
It's
we
pretty
put
neat.
cello on 2 songs.
It's very good. Very
Yeah,
good stuff.
yeah.
Very good stuff. Do you guys want to do another song for us?
Yeah, do you want to do that one since
Yeah.
we're talking about it?
Let's do it.
Please.
All right.
Let's do it. Sweet.
All right.
What's the name of this one?
Let You Go.
Let You Go. Let's do it.
Let You Go.
He's
by
finding his capo
Foxwood.
audience, and he's found it.
Make sure you sound in tune. Definitely.
That's close enough for rock and roll.
Ready? Here you go.
Granted, took you for granted again. Threw you aside and pretended you would stick around through all my ups and downs. Wasted my time on a lie. Wasted your heart on a fight when all along I knew I hadn't changed at all. Now I want you to know I won't just let you go. Oh, 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 oh. Won't just let you go. Oh, oh, oh. 'Cause you just have to know. Oh, oh, oh. That I won't just let you go. Oh, oh, oh. Delivered on all that I said. Did my best to be twice the man that you had asked of me. Failure, failed to deliver again. Guess I just don't understand the things it takes to make you ever trust again. But I want you to know I won't just let you go. Oh, oh, oh. I won't just let you go. Oh, oh, oh.
Nate, do that run you just did at the end of that song.
Okay.
Do that run, bro. Dude, that's just nasty. Oh,
What?
that was it, dude. That was it. That was it. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Bass players out there,
Beautiful.
just take note.
Yes, that
Just
was
take
beautiful.
note.
He just did that at the end of that. I was just like, oh,
So classy, man. All three of y'all, just
Yeah.
like
well,
right
you know.
in your pockets, right where you ought to be.
Well, the thing that I'm loving about this band compared to a lot of stuff I've done in the past is that because we're a three-piece, like, it really makes us think hard
Yeah.
about everything that we do. Like, Nate and Josh slave over their parts. It's not like we come in and write a song and it's like, okay, well, we're just going to do whatever and just do it. Like, they got to know, like, I write a lot of songs on acoustic, and then I come in, I'm like, okay, this is the structure. Now let's scrap everything that I'm doing. You guys carry it, and then I'll see what I can put on top of it later on. And that's what makes three-piece work, because otherwise, like, I'm just playing chords the whole time.
So,
Right.
That's not
so
as fun.
how's the feedback been this summer so far? Like the people you trust, you know.
It's been good.
Yeah, it's been pretty good. I think that this record, like, that, because of what the content, it's kind of a bummer.
It is. We're going to discuss that. We're going to discuss that in a second. It's
Yeah.
tough. It's a dark record.
So it's kind of tough because, like, people aren't going to turn that on and, like, just dance to it and have a good time. It's not that kind of record. And so but the music side of it and just the way that it sounds, everybody's been really complimentary as far as
let's talk about that, because I don't gravitate towards happy music really at all.
Right.
I produce a lot of it. I mean, I work and I mix a lot of it, and I have to study it from a technical standpoint, production wise. But the stuff that moves me is the stuff, like, especially the 90s. Going on the way, we just got back from vacation, but going down there, my kids, we listened to Alt Nation on Sirius. Okay. A lot of alternative, which is, it's weird. Modern alternative music nowadays, at least on Alt Nation, seems, it all sounds like Imagine Dragons, right?
Yeah.
And which is, I'm not hating on them. They're fine. The themes are a little darker, but it's very electronic and it's borderline pop, and it's fine. It is what it is. Now, my favorite is the 90s, right? The 90s rock stations, and they have a crazy good. I think I can't remember the name of it on Sirius, but it is, it is wonderful. But I just switched the channel, and the first song I heard was Jeremy from Pearl Jam.
Nice.
Okay, which is one of the. I mean, when you study the lyrics and you understand where he wrote that song from, where Eddie Vedder wrote the lyrics from, it was about a friend of his that had suicide. I think it was a schoolmate, and we don't have that. We don't have that kind of content right now,
Right.
at least in the mainstream, and I feel like the audiences are so divided. We don't have one radio station anymore for people. We used to have MTV. We had, you had your local rock station, and now we've got 14 options on our phone, right?
Yeah.
And that's where everything is filtered through. So I think it's important to let people know on every format possible what you have going on. So, But getting back to the darkness of the record, not trying to say it's dark, but Jesse was going through some things.
Yeah.
Right. And you still are.
Yeah, so the record's actually called The Falling, and we decided to call it that because of, like, there's no song that says The Falling, there's no lyric on it that has that in there, but if you look at the content of the record, it tells a story, and it tells my story. It's not just generic songs that I wrote about a situation. It's literally songs that I wrote as I was going through the worst season of my life, which I was married for 12 and a half years. And the past 2 years of that marriage, like, things were just not great. I mean, we were trying to save it. We were trying to make proactive steps to make it better because we've got 2 kids, and but ultimately we just decided to quit while we were still friends.
Yeah.
We didn't want to end up hating each other, and so we decided, this is the best thing for us.
That's a tough. We live in the South. There's still a Christian
and
sort of
being from full-time ministry.
Yeah, it's tough.
That was a real tough decision because you know, in the denomination that I was a licensed minister in,
Church of God?
Yeah, Church of God. If you're divorced, like forget it. You can't even be a minister anymore. Luckily, I don't really care about that.
I know, but people, some people don't realize that, especially when you're in ministry, you're tied to a denomination. Around here, it's a lot of the Southern Baptist Association, but some are more liberal than others, and there's definitely, it's almost like it hangs over you.
Yeah.
When you get into that world, it's tough. It's tough. So when you actually go through a real life battle, right? And we all have doubts, we all have struggles, it compounds that, I think, exponentially. I don't think it helps.
Yeah. And for me, I am terrible at expressing what I'm feeling or even realizing what it is that I'm going through in moments. I don't process my emotion very well. I have a really hard time voicing in words, just in conversation, what it is that I'm feeling. And songwriting is actually what I've always used to help me cope with stuff. For instance, last school year, I'm a teacher. I teach orchestra and chorus. One of my
which I think is awesome, by the way.
One of my students passed away, and one of the hardest moments of my life was dealing with that because you just don't even know that kind of pain until you're in that situation. And I didn't know how to cope with it, and so I actually wrote a song about it. And that song not only helped me heal, but it helped my students heal. It helped her family heal. They listened to the video I uploaded on YouTube like hundreds of times because they just it helped them so much through that situation. And so that's where I was in this record. I was going through the shit of a marriage, just dealing with all the stuff that comes along with the pain of seeing the last decade of your life go down the toilet and realizing that I'm always a planner, and I had a 5-year plan and a 10-year plan, and then my 15-year plan did not include getting divorced halfway through it.
I got you.
I had all these other plans for my life, and it's not what it included. And I can remember specifically nights like my birthday last year, sitting at home, writing "Please Come Home" because my wife and I weren't getting along, so she decided to just go out with some friends instead of staying with me on my birthday. And I'm not trying to badmouth her. I love her. She's an amazing woman. But we were just going through stuff, and we were dealing with it the best way we knew how. And so I remember sitting at home alone that night and just penning the words, I don't want to spend these nights alone.
I think the struggle of those things does lead to some pretty amazing creative moments.
Yeah,
and it's real. We're not gonna gloss over things here,
right? Yeah.
I mean, it's not people. We all struggle with different things. I just think in your case, I just felt while we were working on this record, there is a theme there, but the realness. I'm not gonna call it dark. It's just real. That's what draws me to that stuff.
Oh
yeah. And I like it so much more than what I used to do. I used to, be a worship writer. I used to try to come up with the next poppy worship song that could get played in churches around the country. And I was writing stuff that I thought people wanted to hear, and I thought that people wanted to sing along to, and all of that stuff. I look back and it's okay. Yeah. But to me, this is so much more gripping and, like you're saying, real.
You're getting into territory which I love to talk about. So let's do it. Okay. So because you'll hear it said on this podcast.
Is this a new segment?
Oh, man,
stuff Ricky loves to talk about.
I love this. Well, okay, let's talk about this because coming from the Christian world, right, where is the money?
The money's in the church.
The money's in the church, and the money's in the worship music.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Crowd, that's really the main selling point. If you listen to Christian radio, you're going to hear songs from 15 years ago. You're going to hear songs from 10 years ago, and you're going to hear remix songs from, sorry, Jimmy, you're going to hear remix songs of older songs from 20 years ago.
Correct.
Yeah.
You know,
Correct.
right? And then you've got the worship industry, which has got indie. You got a little bit of the indie world mixed in. And then you've got, obviously, the heavy hitter, which would be in Australia, Hillsong. Okay?
Yeah.
And I've always found it funny, you know, I've always thought to myself, because I'm in that boat. I produce a lot of worship music. I find it creatively fun and rewarding when I'm making worship music that sounds real.
Yeah.
That means it sounds like a band. And that's not the way worship music is produced. And it hasn't been produced that way in about 8 years. You know, and I've always thought to myself, creativity-wise, who really who owns that creativity, right? You know, think about that. Like, you know, we're always taught in music, you know, in Christian music is a very vertical conversation. But people don't understand that what they're hearing is so tightly controlled, there's no creativity
Right.
at all.
Yeah.
So I think it drains you personally as an artist, number one, a writer, and as a musician. I don't find it wonderfully rewarding sometimes. I'm not going to say it all the time.
And you also have to be so generic, because if you're writing for the
gotta
church,
be simple.
like if you're going to talk about a problem, you have to talk about the valleys that you're going through, and like
Yeah.
and it always has to be, but Jesus is going to win in the end. You know,
Yes.
like
Yeah.
you can't just
There's-
leave it in the dark place.
And we're not, I don't want to come off like we're bashing it. I absolutely believe there's room for worship music, but I believe there's room for worship music locally at your church. Like,
For
like
sure.
Jimmy writing music for his church.
Yeah.
You know, you writing for your church. New Spring writing for New Spring, Elevation writing for Elevation, and even though Elevation has hit like their pinnacle, I don't even think they've hit their pinnacle. They're very hot right now.
Yeah.
People don't even realize those songs were written for the church. They're not written for the radio. You know. But what were you gonna say, Nate?
I don't know, man. I've thought about this a lot, and I think that as I've grown in life, I realized that it's okay to question things. It's okay to wonder if what you're thinking and what you've been fed your whole life is true.
Oh,
And
yeah.
if it's right. Right? But how do we do that without asking questions?
Right.
Yep.
But the one of my favorite forms of expression, which is music, the Christian world never explores those questions.
Yep.
They never explore
Man.
that. It's always praise, it's always worship, and that's good. But are we growing because of this expression that we
on.
have?
I think, and again, this is something you'll hear me say often. I really think labeling anything other than worship music, Christian music, is not good. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I
music
totally
should just
agree.
be music.
Well, you saw what happened when King's Kaleidoscope released that song of prayer.
Who's King's Kaleidoscope? Who's that?
You don't know Kingsgate?
Oh man!
Listen, man, I am sheltered.
Oh my God, you
It's
need to listen to
exactly
King's
what
Day.
Nate was
If-
talking about.
all right, King's
Christians being
Kaleidoscope.
real and dropping an F-bomb.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Because in the
Music.
'90s, there was a band called Sometime Sunday that
Yeah.
they had like a spare track, and I think he said the word "ass" at the end of it. He was trying to work on a drum part, but back then they would just roll B-roll, right?
Yeah.
So the drummer said this, and man, like every Christian magazine banned Tooth and Nail
The
Records.
foundations of churches
Yes.
actually crumbled.
Yes, it was a very
Yeah.
controversial thing. Go ahead, Jesse.
King's Kaleidoscope, they're from, what's the church in Seattle that, Mars Hill.
Oh yeah, Mars.
They were one
Yeah.
of their bands.
They're super
Where-
notorious liberal too.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
But yeah, one of their latest records, it's called The Prayer, and it's like a really intense song, and Chad,
That's not the dude that's from a mainstream band, is it?
I don't think so.
You might be thinking of Thrice.
Yes,
Yeah.
he has a side project. Okay.
But Chad, the lead singer, like I was listening to him on another podcast, like he really wrestled with whether or not to put it in there because he knew it was going to cause a big stirring and controversy. He didn't want it to be just controversial for the sake, but like it was the word that was most appropriate because like he needed the F word to make the point that he was making in the song, like because that's how hard his struggle was when he was writing this prayer of a song. And he got so much flack. They got pulled from tours. They got pulled from all kinds of stuff.
There's a lot of things that you have to stay within the rules, right? There are some unwritten rules. Alex Jones is learning that right now. He just had all of his content pulled from YouTube, and and personally, there's always going to be boundaries, right? There's always going to be boundaries in whatever you do, and you just have to sort of understand, okay, there's going to be consequences if I go too far to the right or go too far to the left, and you just sort of have to deal with it. But, all right, guys, that concludes this episode. This is part 1. Next week, we will finish out this conversation where we actually discuss this issue more. We also discuss production aspects of the record and just life in general. Thank you so much, and please follow up with Ruddy Man Beard. Follow up with us on the Bombhouse Podcast .com page or our Facebook page. Also, for Foxwood, you can check them out on Facebook.com/Foxwood Music SC. So it's Foxwood Music SC. Everybody, have a good week. God bless.